Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 82. Today is April the 5th, 2021. Thanks for joining us live here in Discord and YouTube. And please be aware that this call is being recorded and will also be available for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to ask your questions on Menti while this call is happening so we can answer them at the end. Without further ado, I'll pass the word now to Rosario to give us the product and engineering updates. Rosario, please, welcome.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rosario from Product and Engineering, and I'll be providing the engineering updates for today. We've had a huge bump, so to speak, of the remaining completion of Zendoo. We've modified our tracking to reflect number of days remaining instead of the number of tasks remaining to better reflect the state and risk of the project. The slide that Angie just posted, you can see that we have about 75% completion for all three projects, and that is amazing. So we felt this was a better reflection of where we stand today, and we are constantly improving our metrics, internal metrics. So special thank you for Angie for working on that project with me. On the Zendoo front, we have two tasks that have entered the final code review phase. Those are the forward transfer minimum amount and the main chain backward transfers without the need of proving snark proof, without a need of proof as snark proof. Also enter the peer review code find fix phase with a sidechain block transaction commitment tree Rust implementation and the proof verifier integration, in particular to the changes to the mempool processing. And lastly, on Zendoo, also, we started the development on adding all data necessary to validate a cert to be able to ban nodes sending non-verifying proofs. On the SDKB side, we continued with the final code reviews that started last week on multiple certificates for it. A few changes were requested and are in progress. The development task of, actually this is very important. So we're starting the last task for development on the SDK B side, and that's the interface with Rust of the sidechain transaction commitment tree hash update, and that's in progress. So it's great news. On the proving system side, we have the first level of reviews and find fix cycle for those, which will go through the week. And in parallel, we're also working on the proof verifier related activities. So what does that mean? We are inserting the proving system into Zendoo. So that's a huge accomplishment for this level of the project. On the product side, the audit blockchain, we continue making great progress with the audit blockchain or sidechain. And the development from our side is complete. So we have our first audit blockchain that is completely, it's done from our side. What's remaining is some integration points from the Celsius side. So we're working with the Celsius team for that. Also interesting that we are working with our the Horizen Labs marketing team and the Horizen ZBF marketing team to come up with the naming convention for our sidechain products. So that's something that's very exciting that we're at this stage of the game. And speaking of games, with our game sidechain or games blockchain, also great progress there. The game developer is integrating the blockchain components, as I've mentioned for the last few weeks, and that's going really well. And we also have first, I mentioned this last week, but just a refresher that we have our first customized sidechain explorer, which is very, it's a needed component for this game chain. And that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosario. Let's continue now with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody's having a good morning, good day. So on the community hub side, we're continuing to see really awesome results. And something I noticed today, we're up almost 3 times in our South Korean traffic, which is kind of interesting. It started around April 1st. So I don't know exactly what happened in South Korea on April 1st, but we went from something like 37 users a day, not visitors, but new signups to 182. So actually, that's more than 3 times. That's way more than 3 times. So something really fun and exciting is going on in South Korea, and Zen is a part of that. So that's really cool. In terms of wallet metrics, we're continuing to see a very steady, nice increase in wallet downloads. Again, this is only the desktop version, so I think we could easily double this if we also had a mobile version of that wallet. In terms of the STZen bonus, we've had a couple of small hiccups getting it live because it's a completely new blockchain, but we're working on it actually as we speak, and it should be live in the next hour or two, and if not, it'll definitely be live by tomorrow morning. So that'll be cool, and everybody could start earning some cool rewards. And lastly, we're about 60% done converting the entire Horizen website into the React framework. So that's been an ongoing project that we had slated about 4 weeks of work, and we're about a little more than 2 weeks into that. And that's it for me. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's continue with Vanna to give us the BD and operations updates.
Thanks, Angie. Happy Monday, everyone. So we have a new wallet integration for today. Zen has been integrated by Via Wallet, which is a product of Via BTC, one of the largest mining pools, and Coinex, a very popular Chinese exchange. An updated application with the Zen support is already live on Android Play Store, and it will be published on iOS App Store during these days as well. This partnership further extends our partnership with Via Group, and now I pass it to Kaspers for exciting Staked Zen updates.
Hey everyone. Updates on the Staked Zen token. So as you all know, last week we had a big week with STZen publicly launching on Ethereum's SushiSwap. To give you some numbers, there is more than $3 million currently in SushiSwap's liquidity pools, namely in two pairs, STZen against STETH and STZen against ETH. The volume since last Monday has exceeded over $500,000, which I would say is a pretty good start, considering that probably many of us are holding back in doing more trades or doing more with STZen because of the high Ethereum gas fees, which can often exceed $50 for a single transaction. Other than that, I'm also happy to say that we are moving forward with STZen integrations across Ethereum's ecosystem. For example, we will be working with Total, which is a DeFi aggregator, and will help STZen users to get the best rates for swapping STZen once the token is available on multiple decentralized exchanges. Also, they helped us to get STZen on MetaMask, so people can easily swap STZen through one of the most popular Ethereum wallets now through a browser plugin. Also, you can find now STZen on Blockfolio and add it to your watch list. And that was possible due to our rapid response and support from our community members who voted for the listing. I also want to mention that we have currently ongoing community voting for STZen integrations on DeFi apps Zerion and Zapper. So I can ask anyone who hasn't done so yet to check out the links I'll be posting in a minute in the chat and upload STZen. And lastly, I can say that Stayhound is exploring getting STZen listed on yield farming apps, crypto lending and borrowing protocols, and other exciting apps and projects. So the best is yet to come, in my opinion. That's it from me today. Thanks, and back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Great updates, guys. Thank you so much. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Thank you, Angie. Hi, everyone. A happy April. And also a happy Easter to those who celebrate. And I know it's a public holiday for many European countries. Hope you guys enjoying it. So we published the Q1 project report. And as a summary, in the Q1, we announced 4 key sidechain partners with press release and 16 integration and exchange announcements. We attended more than 9 events, and the total community growth is approximately 13.2%, with the biggest growth coming from Twitter with 17.9% increase. And our website traffic saw some really big growth. Okay, so it just increased exponentially during Q1. So there was a 94% increase in number of visitors to our main Horizen.io website, 97% increase in just new visitors, and the number of sessions and page views each increased by over 180%. We saw a big increase in our news site too, with 74% increase in visitors, a 77% increase in new visitors, 68% increase in number of sessions, and 59% increase in page views. So a lot more people came and read all of our post contents and past news. And then also move on to the developer community growth. In Q1, we had welcomed over 3,000 developers to our HEAP, our early adopter program, and HDE, our bounty program developer environment since the launch in September last year. And then we saw over 200% website visit increase on the HEAP, with a 1,652% increase in sessions and a 50% website visit increase on HDE, with a 280% increase in sessions. So those are really, really big growth. And we are also working on updating the HDE website. Vano is leading the effort, so we'll be adding new bounties. Definitely stay tuned and look out for these updates in this quarter. And then also, there are more detailed report included in the Q1 review, and then it's published on our blog site, our news site. So please take a look if you haven't seen it. And then also, Rob was invited to SushiSwap Discord server last Friday for a live AMA. The recording of the AMA is also available on YouTube, and if you missed it, you can find it on YouTube or on our social media feed. Vano also did an interview with YouTuber Crypto Rich, so please check it out if you haven't seen it. And we're also working to launch the ambassador program to bring together and empower our community volunteers and evangelists. Erica is leading the program, and I believe she has some updates about the program for us today. Erica, floor is yours.
Hey everyone, happy Monday. So as some of you may know, as part of the Horizen Ambassador Program, we're going to have daily or weekly tasks available through our Discord channel that anybody in the community can do and earn some Zen for completing. So this last week, we spent some time preparing a list of these tasks to prepare for the release of the new program. We're also working on getting some higher value tasks available for our ambassadors. These ones will be posted on the HDE, and Vano, as Lucy mentioned, is working on doing some updates to HDE. These tasks are going to include things like translations, content creation, and more. So we're really excited for that. We've also welcomed several community members to the Ambassador Program this last week. So we're excited to welcome them to the new Ambassador community and get the program rolled out and start working with them on that. So this week, we're going to be working on finalizing the content for the Ambassador page on our website, creating some more tasks to be available for our ambassadors when we roll out the program, and then also making some updates to our Discord channel. We'll also be updating our onboarding documents this week as well. And that's my update for the week. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Great updates. So I already saw the program web design made by our designer, Linda. It's really beautiful, and really looking forward to the launch. And that's today's updates from marketing team. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Erica and Lucy. And now let's welcome Rob for the final part in Q&A session.
Hey, thanks, Angie. Hello, everyone. Happy Easter for those who celebrate. Okay, so we are entering the last month-ish of our development for Zendu delivery. Needless to say, this is a really important delivery for us. We are already doing follow-on activities that we're planning right now. So things like reviewing proposals by auditors and just want to say that ultimately there are some forces that are outside of our control, like whenever we have to rely on third parties to do things like code reviews, and we never know what's going to come of them or exactly how those processes will perform. But you can bet that we're at least on it, and we're going to be pressing everything forward as efficiently as we can. Now, we don't want to rush just for the sake of rushing, because we don't want to deliver something into production that is so important that needs to be done right. But we're going to be moving extremely efficiently and make sure that we do everything we can to deliver on schedule. Anyway, all of those caveats aside, you heard the details from Rosari's update. What I want to do, because we are approaching this last month or so of development before the largest, most significant delivery in our history gets turned over to testing. So what I wanted to do was give you guys a little history. So take 5 minutes just to walk through a bit of a history from when we launched in 2017, and purely hear from the technical perspective. I'll give you our team building, like tech team building background for those who maybe have joined the project recently or haven't been around for the full 4 years with us. So we launched in 2017 as Zencash, and we were back then a completely community-based open source project with community developers. And it worked really well for the early community building, and we had some nice quick wins, getting wallet products out there quickly. That was important because usability, when you launch a cryptocurrency, you need to make sure that people can touch it, hold it, save it safely, and just get it out there. So it was a big rush to make sure that we are integrated into as many third-party platforms and exchanges as possible, but also to have our own wallet products out there. And we wanted to get a good cross-section of wallet products or different varieties of products, like internally, things like Horizen that was done a community developer project. Originally, we had a community contribution for a web wallet, and then we had some others. And then we had the third-party integrations. We got onto Ledger, so we could have a hardware wallet. This was the big rush and the big focus for what was so important on the technical side when we first launched, right? And not to mention, we had tremendous support from IOHK, our R&D partner, in just keeping us alive when we first launched, because this was really the first deep tech team that we had to work with as a project when we first launched. And we didn't launch seamlessly, that's for sure. We weren't exactly software development experts back then. So we were really lucky and fortunate to have deep tech support with IOHK, and just having the commitment from our advisor back then, Charles Hoskinson, leading IOHK. So that was awesome. And we had some third-party software companies that then started coming in and starting to build some things for us, like Sphere by Horizen was a product that was built by a third party. And then they started working on Sphere by Horizen Mobile, short start TLDR today. We still have not released mobile. So we've had mixed success working with third-party software companies. And then in 2018, we were very fortunate to have Alberto join the company, or join the foundation back then in 2018. And this was really our first senior engineering leader in-house, who then quickly started team building. And it was here that we started building our Milan team. And it started with a couple of hires, being very judicious upfront with those that we hired and brought in-house. We wanted to make sure that quality and a mixture of quality, integrity and vision was really important for these first key hires in the Milan office. And then we started exploding that team and really just team building from there. And then we started being able to do, tackle more substantial problems in the industry, be able to do more substantial things with software than we could do back then. We started tackling bigger problems like, well, we got 51% attacked. If you guys remember that, those of you guys who have been with us for long enough. So right away, the first thing, rather than just sitting there and being victims to this, besides the great ops team response to the attack, and Chronic, obviously a huge contributor there. The engineering team right away got started working on, well, how do we stop this kind of thing from happening again? Now, of course, we live in a stochastic world here, not a deterministic world, and what we could do was significantly increase the chances or increase our defenses. We can never drop the risk to zero, but we can significantly increase our defenses. So that's what the team did. And Alberto actually invented the delayed block penalty system, which is what now is at the core of our 51% attack prevention. And so far it's worked pretty well. Again, knock on wood, let's not tempt fate here, but it's one of these things where you can see we made our first substantial contribution to the industry in basically beefing up our own defenses out of necessity. We cleaned up and professionalized the code base. This was really Alberto's first fire hose type of set of experiences with us. Was look at the code base we have now. Let's clean it up. Let's professionalize it. Let's make sure that this stuff's refactored, actually makes sense the way that it's structured, and then we can get started on more significant things. What we did there was we started working on, well, technically speaking, what's the architecture that we want over the next 5 to 10 years? What makes sense to really scale? Because could be a very confusing industry with a lot of noise. And there's a lot of things going on, a lot of really cool, fun, techie things that you look at, you read a white paper. It's awesome. From the science and tech side, you just want to dive in and do it. Things like a DAG, a directed acyclic graph. This was, back in 2018, this is kind of all the rage. Everyone was talking about DAGs, just like today, everyone's talking about DeFi. And we got DAG fever as well. And we've gone out there, reviewed a few different DAG protocols, chose one that we liked. And, we put it there. Okay, this is one of those really deep tech things that we could do. Then we started thinking these other things, these big promises that we had to the community of, we know we want to democratize the treasury pool. We want to, fully automate and decentralize the node tracking and payment system. And there are some other big infrastructure products that we want to do. Is there a unifying thing that we could do that brings it all together? And that's where Alberto came up with the sidechain system. And just the idea of, okay, sidechains can do this. We're talking about a lot of different innovations and a lot of different types of application paths that we can go down. Do we want to modify a main chain that's in production for each of these things? No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to, the way that Alberto architects things is you don't want to build complexity on top of complexity. You want to modularize and do things in as clean a fashion as you can. And this is where sidechains came in. So we really honed in on this idea of sidechains, and this is that unifying technology that means we could now go and build a treasury voting system. We could go and build any type of application that resides on its own kind of module in our ecosystem. And here, by module, I mean its own blockchain, its own sidechain. It's interoperable with the main chain, and ultimately we want even sidechains to be interoperable within other sidechains. Again, future stuff, but the unifying tap was sidechains. So then we started actually thinking of designing this. What would it look like? What kind of sidechain system do we want to build? What tools do we have available to us here? And the tool that made the most sense ultimately, maybe initially was more of, this is a really cool tool and we love it, and we can see some other applications, and there's some really interesting projects out there innovating with snarks. Snarks was the tool. Innovating with snarks in different ways, like snark recursion with Coda, now Mina, and looking at what other projects are doing and thinking, we have some ingredients out there. How can we bring things together in a really innovative way that catalyzes this big ecosystem that we want to do? And that's where Zendoo, the idea for Zendoo was born. The idea of using snarks to be able to link sidechains to the main chain using zero knowledge, so that importantly, all of these things that happen on sidechains, and we want, a countably infinite number of things to be able to happen on their own sidechains. Sidechains are like, in this world of the internet, not everyone in the world has to agree on every single application that gets built. Well, that should be the same concept for what in the blockchain world. We don't want the entire Horizen ecosystem to have to come to broad consensus on every application that gets built. So we modularize it. We create a system where using zero knowledge, anyone could take our SDK, launch their own blockchain, and we have this common interoperability protocol or common protocol called Zendoo. And as long as you conform to that, everything that you do on your blockchain, on your sidechain, is yours. You control it, you can configure it, anything you can code in Java, we say that you can build on your sidechain. And even if you want, you don't have to reveal your sidechain to the world. You could just pass those snark certificates back to the main chain for the world to verify what happens based on the declaration that you do in the main chain when you launch your sidechain. So anyway, not to go too far down those weeds, but we built the team to actually start, being able to have the capacity to tackle real problems. And it took us the last 2 years of team building and coming together. It's this called norming, storming, performing cycle and team building. First you form your team, and then you have to, figure out how to normalize your team. You can have frictions. Just we're all new to this. We're building things as we're going. So we need to define processes and everything. But now we are very much in the performing stage, and we are performing like I mean, not to be too cheesy, but like a well-oiled machine here, really. Like the team is doing so well in terms of being able to think through deep concepts, design them, build project plans, monitor activities as they're going, and then execute and deliver. And do this in a very sophisticated way for very sophisticated, complex software. So we've come a really long way since 2017, and I'm really proud with where we're going. But we might want to, quickly before I wrap up here, and I wanted to do this big review for those who are kind of new to the project. But where are we going? That is always the big question. We're always thinking, where are we going? Because this industry is so dynamic, it's changing so much, and there's always a new shiny object to focus on and try to pursue. Like we can't be blind, or we can't be like deaf. Let's say we can't be deaf to what's going on in the industry. We have to pay attention. We have to internalize the real innovations that are happening, and we have to always make sure that we're on the cutting edge, like on the innovation frontier. Not for the sake of being on the innovation frontier, but to make sure that we're always internalizing the important stuff and building something that's going to be useful. Right? There's a really nice phrase that someone showed me over the weekend, that the only token that's important is the one that's being used. Right? So we can build the coolest thing in the world, but if no one's using it, who cares? Right? So now we have a fully integrated team, and not to wax too much on our tech team, because we have a full stack just team in general. We have business development, we have marketing, we have strategy, we have infrastructure, we have product, we have a whole complement of professionals in this ecosystem right now, both professional and also community contributors who are making this ecosystem successful. Right? All of this stuff is really important. So now, where are we going to go with it? We have this tremendous capacity now to do amazing things. Well, are we going to waste this opportunity, or are we going to actually get out there and make sure that we are going to become the most useful and used blockchain ecosystem out there? Well, I'm not going to lay back and just hopefully hope that fate's going to deal us a winning hand. We're going to be really aggressive about this, and we're going to be more aggressive now that we have more resources, now that we're delivering real technology and real innovation. So Zendoo is being delivered soon, right? We're completing development, over the next month, and we're targeting, let's say sometime in Q3, we're targeting the actual production delivery. Shortly after that, we're targeting, either end of the year, Q4, or maybe latest slipping into Q1. We want the Lattice implementation delivered. Another major delivery here. And we're on track for all of them. I don't want to tempt fate. Let me knock on wood, but we're on track, right? And why do I say this? Because I have confidence that we're on track, because we actually have pretty awesome project management now of tracking all of this stuff. We also want to get back to our open source roots, right? We can't go too far down. Like sometimes pendulums swing, and sometimes they swing a little too far. I wouldn't say too far, because there's a time and place for everything, and we needed to professionalize. So a couple of years ago, we were lacking professionalization in software development. We have professionalized. We professionalized fast. Now our capacity is tremendous, but we have to tilt the pendulum back in the other direction a bit, and now focus on fostering our open source development contributions. We're going to do that, and we have a strategy to do it, and now we're plugging resources into it. We want to hire a dev evangelist team. We have HDE. We have Heap that Lucy mentioned. Right? We have a strategy. We're going to do that. Other ideas that we've been mulling over. We've been mulling over main chain overhaul. And this is purely speculative. So please do not write this stuff down and quote me on it a year from now that we didn't do it. We're just brainstorming ideas, and we need to hear from the community. But our main chain is a little old, right? We're Bitcoin-based main chain, and there's been a lot of new tech innovation over the last 12 years, right? So we should think, what can we internalize from what we've learned, even in our own development of Zendoo, to make our main chain more efficient? And the one thing that I keep coming back to is recursion on the main chain. So the tech that now we're perfecting with recursion on the side chains, why don't we consider this for the main chain as well? Why do we have a main chain? Like, I can't install a Bitcoin node on my laptop right now. Like, it's just too big, right? The database is way too big. I don't want Horizen to get down that path either. Can we innovate with the tech that we have on recursion that we're using for the side chains in the main chain? I hope so. We'll see. But this is one of those projects I'd like to see when we have more R&D capacity freeing up, to consider, can we actually get our main chain footprint down to something that could maybe run on a mobile device? All right, that would be pretty cool. Could we then leverage what we're building and consider even the shielded pool as a side chain itself, right? This is another one of those big main chain overhauls that we might want to consider. We're going to build a treasury voting system. We've been talking about that in these big infrastructure projects for a while now. We're getting close to actually being able to at least start work on these things. Can we do DeFi directly within Horizen, right? You've heard Casper's now give you an update on the STZen launch. Well, this is awesome. We're now even in MetaMask. That's really cool. It's a lot of progress. The team's killing it in that dimension. That's really cool that we've entered the Ethereum DeFi ecosystem. Well, when are we going to start doing DeFi on Horizen directly, right? So that's a huge thing as well. And look, this isn't chasing a shiny object. This is why I got into Bitcoin in the first place. I want to decentralize finance, right? This is why I got my doctorate in finance. Like, finance is at the heart of the world's activities, of how we all interact with each other, how we earn livings, how people ultimately achieve freedom. Finance is it. That's why we're here. So getting decentralized finance in Horizen is a must, and we're going to do it. It's just a matter of which path are we going to take and when are we going to do it. We're talking about some really ambitious things. So I'll just spill some beans right now without details. We're going to build a new engineering center in the US. We've been plotting this actually for some months now, and we're getting ready to do our first key hire and team building in a major US city. And we're going to be hiring a significant engineering team in this US city. This will significantly increase our capacity to accelerate everything that we're doing. This team's going to focus more on the product engineering side, so that we're getting the deep tech out of our Milan team, and we're going in different verticals with this US team. But that's going to be a really nice accelerator for us. We need it. We need to be able to get out there to market and really get this tech everywhere. Also considering something that we're kind of brainstorming internally is sort of like a studio concept, like a Pixar for Horizen. What would be the studio concept of being able to do really consumer focused types of applications using the technology to really generate a lot of buzz and get out there and work in things that people use every day. So we want Horizen to be part of everyday infrastructure. We're doing tremendous infrastructure work on back end with blockchain protocol stuff. Well, we also need to complement this very much on the types of things you would use on your mobile device every day, things that you would rely on every single day. We need to get also into that kind of consumer end of it. Now, not diluting or distracting the team that we have right now, but thinking about this type of studio concept where maybe we can partner with, maybe we can bring in-house, maybe we can acqui-hire, maybe we could do something where we bring in experts in consumer types of applications and now pair them up with our product engineering team and always have reached back to our protocol engineering team and do some amazing things together, right? So these are the types of things that if we're going to fast forward a year, I can tell you are very much on my mind. And maybe I should stop here and not divulge too much more, but this was, I think, an important history lesson for you guys, because this project's been around for 4 years, and 4 years in crypto feels like an eternity. We have come so far, and we need to always remember the roots from which we've come and make sure that we're not going, we're continuing to develop in a balanced fashion, but also being responsive to the realities of the new market that we have right now. Because if we're thinking strategy from 2017, that's way outdated. The industry has changed significantly from 2017. We need to be constantly updating this, but in a sort of like Bayesian fashion, where we're not just dumping everything and switching everything up every 2 months. No, we're internalizing in a Bayesian fashion things that make sense. What's going on? What can we actually bring in, and where should we go? And kind of the ship that we have in motion that is accomplishing so much of what we just dreamed of back in 2017. We need to be able to kind of re-vector sometimes to efficiently capture what's going on in the market. Anyway, I'll stop here, guys. It's been fun, and we can open it up to any Q&A.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rob, for the recap. I think we all agree that it was great and also needed. Okay, and thank you as well for everyone who contributed with your questions. The first one is how to participate in Ambassador Program and what is it for?
Well, this is an awesome question. I'm going to punt this right to either Lucy or Erica directly, because they are the architects of it.
Well, I can summarize on a high level. Maybe Erica can give some details about it. So to join Ambassador Program will be very, very easy. Once it's launched, there will be an application form on the website where people can just, submit their basic information, and then we will start the process and then approve the candidates. Right now, if you wanted to have the ink early, you can always reach out to us directly. Reach out to Erica and let her know that you'll be interested in joining the program and maybe start early, even before the official launch. And then we totally welcome that as well. And then as for what's it for? It's for anyone who wants to contribute to the program, wants to help and wants to share their ideas, but do not know where to start. And then they want extra hands, and they want to work with others. They want to receive support and resources from the team. And this is a program for them. So the bottom line is, the program is for anyone who wants to be more involved in the project and use their talents and their skills, and also their ideas, their network, and any resource that they have to help Horizen to be successful. If there's anything you would like to add, Erica, feel free to do so.
I think you said it perfectly. If anybody does want to learn more about the program or possibly join it, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. I'm happy to discuss it with anybody. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you so much. The second question is, will there be NFT integration on Sendu anytime soon?
Yes, there will. In fact, this is kind of the main focus of the studio concept that I was mentioning. And again, this is whether we bring one person in-house that is proficient with these consumer type of applications, and NFTs were actually the motivation for it, or if we build an entire team or do some sort of entirely different concept, right? TBD on how we implement it, but absolutely. And we already have something like half a dozen interesting use cases that leverage NFTs. So the idea was to build an NFT platform using the SDK for Zendu, and run with another team that can now bring that to market. More news to come. I probably already said too much, guys, but this is an exciting topic.
Great. And the third and final question is, why Zen pumping Coinbase listing?
Because we're awesome. I don't know. What other explanation need there be? Really, I have no idea. We're the more I learn about finance, the more I realize I don't understand about finance. So I have no idea. It's a global project, and you never know what's going on behind the scenes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. I do see here a couple of more very interesting questions. If you agree, we can maybe just cover one more.
Let's roll.
Okay. So any ATA for tokenization on Horizen sidechains?
So you can already do tokenization with the SDK, and in terms of like a nice portal where you can go and launch your own tokens, we don't have that yet. And I would say probably the more proximate path there would be what we're doing with the studios concept, to build a portal for that type of token, like a non-fungible token. But the SDK as of today, you can do tokenizations. We just don't have a nice, clean kind of GUI for it or user application. We will for sure, and more to come on it, because we're definitely sensitive to. This is one of the core things that you have to be able to do with the blockchain project, or what's the point, right? You could already do this on how many others out there. You can do it technically with us. It's just we need better, cleaner tools and more consumer grade tools for people to be able to do it directly. And again, guys, this is all pre-Zendu. So we have an SDK in beta, and that's really just for developers and very experienced people to play around with. This is all contingent on us getting Zendu to market. So that's why we've been focusing on that deep tech stuff. Once we get that to market, though, there's going to be an explosion of these types of things. We obviously will be doing a ton of tokenization.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I see here some other very interesting questions, but we will be posting them on the channel so we can answer them later. And I guess that's it. This was a very, very great Weekly Insider. Thank you, everyone, for attending it. And we will see you all next Monday for the latest Horizen updates. See you all very soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.